Pull up a chair and buckle up. It's the Original Strength BodCast. Hey guys, this week I am talking with my good friend Matthew Meyers. Matt is the head of coaching at Nerd Fitness, and he is the author of a book called Play Full. As it would be, Matt and I are talking about play and how it's good for the body, good for the brain, and good for you. So Matt, tell me your story. How long have you been a personal trainer?
Oh, great question. Back in 1859. No,
you aged well.
I aged very well. I've been in personal training full-time officially for 10 years now. So I just hit my decade mark. I started way back after college. I had moved to Japan to teach English and had become, I would say, moderately obsessed with movement, nutrition, coaching psychology. It was like, thought I was going to be doing stuff in Japanese, but then I was spending all my time and energy just thinking, reading about the movement and fitness side of things. And I remember talking about it all the time. And my wife, who was my fiance at the time, was like, you should probably try this and see if it's something you would enjoy doing, because you literally don't stop talking or thinking about it all the time. It's like, oh, no, I couldn't do that. No. And she eventually kind of gave me a swift kick in the rear, and I started training folks. And the thing that for me in the beginning that was really interesting, or the question I wanted to ask myself was, did I just like fitness, or did I like coaching? Did I like being around people and serving people through this fitness medium? And so I started doing one-on-one sessions and haven't looked back. I loved it. I fell in love with it immediately. Love the interaction with people, love connecting with people over this shared interest. But for me, it's like the fitness and the fun is part of it, but it's like getting to know people and connecting with people. That was the thing I loved. So I knew I was bit by the bug, and it wasn't just a fitness like interest. It was a lifelong passion and pursuit. And I plan to do it until the day I die, probably.
It's a good plan.
So 10 years in, I've done lots of stuff over the last 10 years. Currently, I am the head of coaching for a company called Nerd Fitness, and we're really about embracing everybody where they're at on their fitness journey, welcoming in. We have a saying: we don't care where you've been, we care where you're going. And it's a place for mutants and misfits and everyone else to come in and learn about fitness in a habit-based, sustainable, but hopefully non-threatening way, like a really opening and welcoming way, which I feel like ties in really well with Original Strength in a lot of ways, and the principles I learned studying with you, that like being open to everybody, and accepting people where they're at.
No, I do think it's a good fit. And now you mentioned Nerd Fitness, and you said, what did you say? You said mutants and
misfits.
Yeah. And
everyone else.
It looks like behind you, well, your backdrop looks like a doctor. Yeah. Is that Doctor Who?
It is Doctor Who. You got it. 100%.
So, and you, which is cool. That's very cool. And I'm proud that I recognize Doctor Who.
I'm proud of you too.
But also you mentioned the word fun in fitness.
Mm-hmm.
How is there a place for fun in fitness? Like, how do you reconcile those two together?
Yeah, man, you're really laying the groundwork for me here, aren't you, Tim? This is a huge topic, and this is a big thing. A passion of mine for a long time has been play, and what is play's role in fitness? How does it fit in? Before I was in my current role of head of coaching, I ran some play workshops for Original Strength, wrote a little ebook on play, and my passion project was I opened up this thing called the Ninja Academy at my old gym where I worked at for 7 years. And the Ninja Academy was based around this idea that play is an essential human nutrient. That play is something that we all need, and that especially like kids need it just as much, but especially adults have kind of had the opportunities for play weeded out of their lives over time. And I wanted to create a place where everyone was welcome, everyone was able to come in, and we could explore what play might look like together. And my experiences with that really formed a lot of my thinking around play, of having these groups of people come in 3 times a week and organizing play sessions that were like adults only, kids only, whole families together. And what does that look like? And I know I'm meandering a little bit, Tim, here, so whenever you want to just rein me in, just rein me in. But the big thing that I think I came to realize is that we just need more balance. And fitness has become something that can be really scary for people to step into. It can feel like a really judgmental space to be in. It can feel like everything is based around progress, numbers, sets, reps. And there is a place and a time for all of that. Like that stuff, like getting into the nitty gritty, all that stuff, it can be helpful. But we've lost sight of the other side of things, which is being in the moment, enjoying it, connecting with other people, letting ourselves go, not being concerned about the numbers. Like I think you need both to have a balanced practice. And we've just swung the pendulum too far in the fitness industry towards one side, where it's all about one thing and there's no space or conversation about the other, this fun and playful side of things. And working with people online has been so helpful for me to understand my dog is scratching at the door. Let me open this up. She likes to sleep on the couch. Stop it. Get up there. Go. Okay. Being online has been so interesting because people will tell you things online in a text that I don't feel like they ever told me when I was in a one-on-one session or like in a session in a gym where there were people around, right? I think it feels it might feel like a safer space to like say how you're feeling, right? And here's what I've discovered, Tim, and you might have seen this as well. Everyone is stressed out and overworked all the time. Everybody. Like, we broke the system somewhere along the way. We broke the system. There's no one who's just like chilling. Everyone's got a little bit too much on their plate. Everyone is struggling to find ways for self-care. And because of that, they feel like they have to force themselves into figuring out a way to make fitness fit in their life. They have to force it. If I just had more willpower, if I could just buckle down and get someone to kick my butt, I would finally be able to feel healthy and feel better. And most of them also say that they've never enjoyed fitness, right? A lot of them are like, I've never been a fitness type of person. I've never been someone who enjoys exercise. And my thought is, can we offer them a different alternative? Like if people are already overstressed, overworked, they don't necessarily enjoy exercise, and they're struggling and they need more self-care and they need more time in their lives, could we offer them an alternative of a play-based approach that taps into their innate desire to move, that's buried deep, their childlike wonder, in a way that would not only provide physical benefits, but reduce stress and allow for more creativity and exploration, and allow there not to be like one right way to do it. Yeah.
So
okay, did I get to an answer?
Well, yeah, but it was a big answer that has a little bit of layers to it. So let me see if we can can kind of dive into some
Yeah.
certain parts of it. So, and by the way, well, we'll get to, I do agree that everybody's stressed out.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you about that. But first, why do you think the fitness world or fitness in
Mm.
general or the fitness industry is so serious? Like, why so serious? To quote the Heath Ledger version of the.
That's a good question. Um,
Because it's very serious. Like, so if you look at the ads or
yeah,
the marketing, you always see
yeah,
the like just whatever ad you look at, a very determined, a face of, set like flint or a scowl,
yeah.
or like you can see the pure, and it's cool. I mean, I like it, I dig it, but it's very serious.
I
Yes,
get my
that,
fists under the biceps to kind of push those up, and
and you furrow the brow, and
yeah,
but or you look like you're really
yeah,
contemplating like how to save the world with like this. You're on the verge of this, this huge discovery
yeah,
with intent. But so, like, why is, because fitness can be fun, like it just
yeah.
can be. When I was a kid, I would play hide and go, because I grew up at a child care center, daycare center, the first 11 years of my life. And I would spend 8 hours a day playing hide and go seek and freeze tag all day
Hmm.
long, never get tired, pick up games of football, basketball, whatever, and play for hours and never even think
Yeah,
about getting tired. Um,
yeah.
and we laughed the whole time.
Pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool.
But
Wish I could feel like that again.
right. But then you get into fitness and exercise and you do maybe a seventh or an eighth of that much energy and it wipes you out. Or it's just, but there's no
Yeah,
laughing, no giggling, there's not as much joy in it. Now, some people can find joy in it. Some people do.
yeah.
God bless them. But not everybody does.
Yes, and that's the whole point, right? I that because I actually learned that too from interacting with people. When I try to bring this play-based approach to people, some people are like, you know what, I really love, for me, play is picking something heavy up off the ground and like testing myself against that. And I'm in my flow state, I'm in my play state when I do that. And I was like, that's awesome. Right. And that was an important lesson for me to learn too, because you can always swing the needle too far, right? You can be like, oh, I'm way over here, or only play, or no, only regimented fitness program. And the truth lies somewhere in the middle for most people, right? Is where they're going to feel best. But I think, thinking back when I first started in fitness side of things, even though I had this penchant for play, it always felt like it had to be this side piece. Like, I think there is a natural desire to, I think there's a natural desire to kind of prove yourself as an expert in this field, uh, and to be taken seriously, because we're squatting and jumping around and lifting weights for a living. And so I think there's like part of it that uh, is probably like cultural, part of it that's people wanting to kind of prove themselves as having value. I felt like the way I gave value to people before was by being an expert, and an expert is serious,
It's,
right?
it's, it's interesting you say that, because
Yeah.
when I first met you, I thought you were the most serious guy I had ever run across, because you were like you were the student, and you were determined to learn, and
Yes.
you were meticulous, and then you became this play guy, and like, so in the short time I knew you, the amount of
Yeah.
growth I saw unfold from you was really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there was a fear of that. And then, I also wonder too, have you ever read the Four Tendencies, or heard of the Four Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin
No, sir.
before? Basically, it's a framework with which to think about what motivates people to take action, and whether they respond well to external sources of feedback or internal sources of feedback. And my gut sense, and if you look at, I've actually polled our clientele that come into Nerd Fitness, and the majority of people who are coming into Nerd Fitness, and the majority of people take this test online, like 40 to 50%, are what we would call an obliger, which is someone who needs external motivation in order to make changes, and is often frustrated that they can't rely on themselves to like get motivated and get going, right? They will often sacrifice their own time in order to help other people, right? So this is someone who, the parent who's just like, I can't, I have to be here for my kids. I have to be here for my family. I can't take time for myself.
So you called it an obliger.
An obliger,
right? Or
right?
a martyr. Is it like a martyr?
Yeah, in a way, yeah, it can be that, right? If they don't set good boundaries, it can turn into that. And so I think if you look at the stats, like 40% of people are obligers worldwide. Like most people are obligers. In our Nerd Fitness program, 60% of people are obligers who are coming to us. So it's way above and beyond. But then you look at our coaches. Who are the coaches? Like, where do our coaches lie on this personality spectrum? And the majority of them are upholders and questioners. And not to get through too much lingo at you, but those two are the two types that respond well to internal motivation. So if they set their mind to it, if they think that it's important, they're going to do it. And I wonder if there's a natural kind of like splitting in the fitness industry in this way, where that the people who are teaching are coming at it from this perspective where I made my mind up that this was important to me and I executed it. And all the people who are coming to us for help are like, I need help with external motivation. I can't just develop it myself. And so you have all these experts telling people like, don't just have that internal drive, have that internal motivation, like do it this way, like do it how I did it. And they are speaking to a very few people that can actually hear that message and absorb it. And they are crushing this giant group of people who are going to struggle with the internal motivation and need a carrot, need something that is going to help bring them through. What better, here's my proposition then, to bring it back to play, what better carrot than creating experiences that are enjoyable and community around experiences that are enjoyable, having other people you can connect with, because those people rely on external motivation. So if you can create a community, a place where people feel accepted and an important part of the group, and they want you to participate with them, they want you to be in here and enjoying things with them, and it's fun and it's not intimidating. Like, could we not help this giant swath of a population that's really not being spoken to at all right now? I feel like we can, right? So yeah, there's some, it's been really interesting, like I said, getting into the online coaching, because I feel like the psychology part of things, my mind has just exploded with that stuff. Learning more and more about that and understanding how these pieces kind of fit together. But why fitness so serious? You know, cultural, people wanting to prove themselves as an expert. And then I wonder if there's also this divide with fitness professionals attract a certain type of person and they're speaking the wrong message to many of the people that they're trying to help. Not speaking in a message that will really help them. So,
well, that's deep too. Like, you know, the art of speaking so you can be heard.
mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, so, there's a lot, man.
That's pretty deep. So you said that everybody's stressed out. Everybody's serious, yeah. Really. Mm-hmm. What, you know, and we could speculate, I guess, forever on this, but really quick, why do you think everybody is stressed out? Is it because they do take life so seriously, or because they find no joy or no ways to have fun, to have an outlet of laughter to, like, you know, soothe them down a little bit? Or
yeah, no, I really think when there's a quote in the book, I think it's Switch by Chip and Dan Heath, which is all about behavior change, and they say what often looks like a motivation problem is a draining of willpower resources problem. It's a draining of resources problem, or what looks like a people problem is often an environmental problem. So I think of it more like yes. Do I think play could be an antidote, could like help inject, like giving yourself permission to play, giving yourself permission to take time for yourself in that way? Can it help with some of the stress? For sure. But I feel like the reason is probably more like we have so many things competing for our time and attention all the time. And I think there's a cultural expectation of productivity being king. And, one of the things we see with people a lot, have you heard of this term, revenge bedtime procrastination?
I've never heard of that.
So it's an actual, I believe it's an actual like word in Chinese. Like there's a dictionary term for it. But the idea that you push bedtime back further and further because you are desperately clinging on to that time at the end of the day where you feel like it's finally your own time. It's finally time. I'm watching Netflix. This is the only thing I've gotten to do for myself all day. I'm going to push bedtime off further and further because I need this my time, this me time, this decompression time. And so it just feels like the rhythms are off, right? Like the rhythm of your day is wake up, go, 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 go. Okay, I finally get to shut down. And now I'm going to push that off because I really need more time to shut down. I need more time to recharge than I'm getting. So I'm going to push that off. Then I'm going to go to bed late. Then I'm going to wake up tired, start the whole thing over again. And it's just this huge vicious cycle. So yeah, I actually, I think it's way more, to sum up again, because I can talk forever. I think it's way more cultural and like the rhythms just being off, like and our resources being drained than it is anything about, people being too serious. Yeah. What do you think? You're asking me these big questions. What do you think about that?
You're the play guy. It's like you said when we first started talking. I think people are so far removed from play. So it is a cultural issue because even our culture is now removing playtime or free time or physical education time from schools, which is actually it's a huge mistake because learning happens through movement. And movement keeps a healthy body. It keeps a healthy mind so it can focus and so it can learn and concentrate and be creative. Be creative. So to me, creativity is also a form of play, right? Whether you're just sitting down reading, daydreaming, drawing, whatever it is you create, like that's a form of play. But that seems to be not important in our school systems now, and it has been kind of going that way for a while. So we're getting these adults that either they didn't have a lot of playtime outside or all the playgrounds disappeared because they're, the liability of it. And then you get in schools and it's more removed too. Yeah. So it may just be such a foreign like concept, which is kind of sad. And I hope I'm wrong about that, but I mean, it's a possibility.
I think, well, another thing that I feel like I had this whole project with the Ninja Academy, which was reclaiming traditional games and sports, because the way sports are set up now too, people get filtered out as being like good or bad early. And so if you're lucky enough to be good at something and you can like pour yourself into it and you can enjoy it, like great. But many people get kind of this messaging and feedback like, this is not for me. I am not good at this. So what other avenue do they have? Right? Like sports is the main avenue available to us for physical play and education at this time. So like what else could they even do? Right.
And you're, so now you're gone down another vein though, because for some sports is not play. Yeah. I have trained kids miserable because of their sport. Yeah. Like they're so, 10 years in baseball and it's all their parents are living and breathing and dreaming for the kid. And the kid's so burnt out. Like that's not, it's a job. And it's a job they don't like. Yeah. And then you throw in a couple of trainers, a couple of batting coaches, a couple of throwing coaches, a speed trainer, a strength trainer. Like those kids are like, so I would say that sports can be the exact opposite of play.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So then what are those kids supposed to do? Right? Because then they
hate physical education the rest of their lives.
Yeah. right? So, and that's where I think, and that's where I think play comes in. It's an alternative. It's another option. It's a nutrient that we can add to our toolkit, and hopefully introduce more people to more options. It's about having more options. It's about not feeling like you have only one way to go, right? Um, One thing I've always loved about original strength too is that did you just catch your cup falling off? Oh
No,
no.
Superman just fell off the wall. That was
Okay.
interesting.
I was like, that's good reflex of strength.
Superman.
Yeah.
I had to save it.
um, the Yeah, like having options. One thing about original strength that I always loved was that you guys came at it from an approach of, hey, we're not telling you not to do anything else. We're just saying that this can be like a good thing to add into what you're doing. Like it can be a good addition to things. We're not telling you that you can't do anything else that you love. Like, but maybe this could serve as a foundation. And I feel that way very strongly about play too, right? And kind of been saying that as like, I'm not telling you can't do anything else you already like and love. I'm saying there may be an opportunity to add a little bit of this in and see a lot of benefit um, for a lot of people. So, yeah, that's
I'm
cool.
curious. I'm curious. So you're coaching at Nerd Fitness,
Mm-hmm.
and you get people that are maybe like they know logically they know they need to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They probably don't like exercise.
Mm-hmm.
They sign up to Nerd Fitness because they know they need to do something, and this is a step they're taking. How do you convince them to add play into what they're doing, and or what does that even look like
Yeah.
for somebody that in today's world pandemic they're working at home in front of Zoom all day long,
Yeah.
spending all their time hyper stressed out because the whole world has changed. And now, and
Yeah.
in an odd turn of events, because you don't have to go to work now, your actual work time and productivity time has gone up. And now you lose things like lunches and drive time become now time that you get to work extra because, hey, everybody's at home. Why not start the Zoom call earlier? Why not end
Yeah.
the Zoom call later? There's no drive home. We can, next thing you know, it's 7 p.m. You're still Zooming at work, haven't even had dinner yet. And, so it's like, so now how do you mix in play and make that an appealing option for somebody that really does want to get healthier, not crazy about exercise, but they're also drowning in today's new era.
Yeah. So the big thing I think from that standpoint is that you have to meet people where they're at. And often all our clients come in with a set of expectations about what fitness looks like or what coaching is going to look like. And we don't always know, even though we ask like a ton of questions in this onboarding questionnaire and we like talk to them through, like we might not all know what their underlying expectations are. They might not even have identified it, what they expect this to be like, or what they expect results to look like, or what they expect to get, right? And so we try to take this really client-centered approach, which for me means that I am trying to add my knowledge to this shared pool of meaning, but give equal weight and respect to their experiences, their skills, their knowledge, and what they want. And like I think John Berardi has the saying like, I'm the guide on the side. I'm the navigator with the map showing the different directions we can go, but they are the driver. They get to decide where we go to. So it might be as simple as for me as saying like, hey, here are a couple options. We could build some custom workouts for you. We could start off with some movement snacks that might even feel a little bit more playful. For example, we could do this other thing, or we could do a combo of all of them. What sounds good to you? And it's just making it an option, right? Again, it's about options. So and even if they say no in the beginning, they're like, that doesn't really sound that interesting to me. There's a chance now that because I've painted the picture that it is an option, that down the line, if we circle back to that, like, hey, I know you're super stressed out at work, you don't feel like you have a lot of time, and you're worried about how do you get physical activity in but still have time with your kids, what would you think about trying like a couple of games this week, like some physical games you might want to play with them? We could try it for a week. Let me know what you think, and then if not, we can figure something else out, right? So recognizing, calling out where they're at, and again, offering an option, an option, a potential pathway forward, uh, is usually how I get people to step into it. Because if I just come in, like, it's cool to get to talk to you about play like this, because I can tell you how I feel. But when I'm coaching, I'm not worried about how I feel about it. I'm worried about how they feel about it. And so I'm not going to just step in and say, hey, by the way, play is the best thing ever, and you should totally play, and you're totally missing out from all these benefits of play. I'm going to ask them questions about what they think, and then I'm going to provide options that may include things that I think would be helpful. So that's the big difference, right? And so it can be a really slow. I have some people that are just now adding little bits of play. I have plenty of people that we still haven't even touched it, right? I have plenty of people on my roster we still haven't touched it with. But I have one lady who every week I send her a Seeds of Play video. And the idea is it's like one random game or thought or prompt or whatever to get out and explore play. And she takes that and like runs with it and does what she wants with it. I have other people that are parents that we've cooked up, like, when you're at the playground, here are some fun games or ideas or stuff you could do to be active with your kids when you're at the playground. And here are some examples. I have other people who it's exploring different aspects of fitness maybe they'd never tried before that maybe feel more playful or goal oriented. For example, like parkour, right? Like getting started in parkour. Parkour is not about steps or reps. It's about completing a challenge. And what do kids do when they play? It looks like parkour. It's like, can I jump down from this thing? Can I climb up that thing? Can I jump over this thing? Can I wrestle? Can I wrestle? Can we play tag? Can we play hide and seek? Like, a lot of those movements, I feel like parkour lends itself to play in a lot of ways and can be an entry point for people because they look at parkour and like, oh, that's so cool how those people can do those things. And you're like, well, we could do that. We can get started. And that can really I think, broaden some horizons too, is finding those practices that maybe that don't just feel like random play, that feel like there's still like some skill progression and some things that people can kind of latch onto with their rational brain, right? Like, oh, I can understand that I'm going to be building skills here, but it opens the opportunity for more play and more playful stuff down the line. So those are probably the big ways online. I mean, it could be stuff like, Tim, what's on your desk in front of you?
A little Yoda drinking cup or
Yeah.
Roku. My microphone and
Yeah.
my lovely laptop here.
Cool. So we have so many people that work at home right now, like you said. They're on their computer all day. So maybe the experiment to get them playing more is having the option to do something. Maybe it's setting a couple of juggling balls on your desk next to. I have a guy who chuckles during every Zoom meeting with his video off, which is hilarious.
That is funny.
But I have a guy who does that. Or maybe it's getting a bunch of popsicle sticks and sticking them in a mason jar. And on each popsicle stick, we write like a different movement, like crawl, jump, roll, juggle, whatever. And we stick them in there. And randomly, when you need a break, you're mentally fried in the day, you pull out a popsicle stick and you look at it and you're like, all right, I'm going to go mess with this thing for a little bit. And there's no sets of reps. It's just giving yourself the time and the inspiration to do something, right? Maybe it's something like that. There are so many ways you can kind of hack into the matrix a little bit and try to introduce just a little bit of play. I don't know about you, but I just find if I add a little bit into my day, I feel so much better. I feel so much more productive. I'm happier. I handle stressful conversations better. My my posture feels more upright. Like when I'm sitting at my desk, like literally everything. If I just take a break to do 2 minutes and do something fun and then come back. And the other thing too, I should say with play, we can before I know I'm talking to him, before I get too far afield, we can also, I feel like people over idealize what play is too. So we're talking about play this whole time. I'm telling you, it can be this antidote and this everything, but playing doesn't necessarily mean, oh, I immediately just had fun for 2 minutes and then I came back. Like play can be frustrating. Play can be tinkering around with something. Play can just be movement. Like you're not always going to be in this perfect flow state of play all the time. So I don't like limiting it to have to be this like perfect idealized version of play. Like literally anytime you're taking out for yourself as an attempt to move or move with the intention of focusing on moving rather than focusing on some end result, right? Like I'm not worried about the end result. I'm just worried about being here in this moment, doing this thing. Anytime I can do that, I count it. It counts for me.
So here's it's not a trick question, but it's layered, I guess. So you've got these options for people to play, and I totally agree and believe the more options you have, the better off you are.
Yep.
And now you mentioned the word at the beginning, self-care, while you were talking about play. So is play more about self-care for the mind, the emotions, or the body? And can the body physically benefit from play? I already know the answer, but I want to see like what are we, when we're playing, are we addressing the mind, our thoughts? Are we addressing our emotions, or are we addressing our body? Like,
don't try to pull it up. Don't try to pull it apart, Tim. It's all three. You know, it's all three. Don't pull it apart. To me, play is really holistic in that way, right? Because it gives you a break from the feeling of productivity, being a slave to productivity. If you find something that you enjoy or that you're tinkering with or whatever, like that can be really soothing. If you're playing with my kids is literally the best thing I do every day. And when I come down the stairs and they just scream, "Daddy, wrestle! Do you want to wrestle?" And they know, and they go hide, and I literally, speaking of like prepping your environment, I have gymnastics mats laid out in the playroom that are already there all the time. So it's like a place we know we can go and safely wrestle at any time. And they go hide around the corner, and I get on the mat, and they come sprinting around and just throw themselves at me, tackle me, and we're doing flips and rolling around and whatever. And to me, that connection time with them is like the most emotionally soothing time of my day, right? Having that outlet. But then at the same time, especially for physical play, right? Physical play then adds in these other components where I'm improving. There's so many things happening. I think this is part of why play gets a bad rap from rational brain side of things, is it's very hard to quantify.
Yep.
Right? Like, oh, if I did this squat for this weight and this many reps, I can tell exactly how much work I did. In play, you're like, well, I twisted 700 different ways and I got up and down off the floor 10 times and I was kind of running around sometimes, but then sometimes I was tired. So I was kind of resting and kind of chilling out a little bit more. And then I got excited again. And I started running around again. Like, it's hard to quantify everything that's happening because play is a whole food.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Between the two, quantifiable exercise, sets and reps, and you can quantifiably measure it, and play, where you may just get up and down from the ground 50 different ways and have all this like giggle time. Which one improves the quality of life, and or which one extends the life better so that you can function better later in life? And it's probably,
you can make, I think you can make an argument that this is how I think about it. And I was you're kind of leading into this. I think of play as the whole food, right? There's so many interactions and nutrients in play that when you pull it apart, it's hard to assess like what all those things are, right? And quantify them. However, sometimes people may need targeted supplementation. And so if you're someone who getting up and down off the floor hurts your knees, that's anything that's painful is going to be a deterrent to play. And so maybe you need to supplement with these exercises over here in this specific regimen that we can track to get a specific result to enable you to get back in with less fear and play in a way that feels safe to you, right? So that's how I would put it. I would say they're both useful, but I do think play has so many interactions and so many things that we often neglect. It is a whole food, and the exercise is a targeted supplement.
That was an excellent answer. Good job.
Thanks, bud. I do my best.
So this is fantastic. People should find options, or they should explore, at least be curious enough to seek ways to play more in their lives. Chances are that most people need to find ways to maybe add more play into their lives for the whole food aspect of it, for the nutritive, nutritious, life-giving, life-enjoying aspect of it.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to learn more about Matt, or they want to learn more about Nerd Fitness, or they want to be curious, say maybe they just want to be curious about the health benefits of play, what are some resources they could look for?
Sure. There are a bunch. It depends on where you want to go. So for if you want to get some ideas for playful games, stuff like that, I still have, I think my ebook is on iBooks. Might only be on iBooks right now. But I go through a lot of the stuff that we talked about, but also make a pretty impassioned plea for the community benefits of play being huge as well, and finding your tribe, finding people that you can play with, and everybody playing with everybody else. Like, it's not just about it's not just about competitions. It's not just about finding someone that you can compete against. It's about grandparents being able to play with grandkids, being able to play with parents, like everyone, the whole circle of life interacting in a meaningful way. And I have a bunch of ideas in there of different games you could start out with. Nerd Fitness, nerdfitness.com. We have a ton of articles about all aspects of fitness. But there is an article in particular that I am super proud of that is based around how to take your normal exercise and translate it into a playful experience with your kids. That I did a video on for Nerd Fitness, and then our awesome writing team took that video and made it into this article that I just shared with everyone in my family because I was so proud. So I can send you links if you want to drop links in the.
Yes, please. I would like to have all the links to all the Matt stuff.
I'll give you links. So that's like an awesome place to start. There are also really great books. There's a book, Play by Stuart Brown, which is kind of like the seminal first book on play. I highly recommend, if you have young kids, there's a book called The Guide to Roughhousing, which is all about like roughhousing ideas and different ways that you could spin, flip, jump around, move with your kids. I think, so those are a couple places I would probably go first. And if anyone has questions, they want to reach out to me at any time, they can always email me at freefitguy.com, freefitguy@gmail.com.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to try to answer questions about play or provide some more direction there. But the biggest thing is if you need whatever resource, whatever else you grab, give yourself permission to play, give yourself permission to explore this stuff. I know that it can help to have some direction in the beginning of exactly what to do. Like, if you just tell someone, Tim, to like, go play, they're going to freeze up. Like, you're just like, whoa, what do you mean? I don't know, especially if you're out of practice, right? So come up with like one idea, one thing that you might want to try, whether that's juggling or playing with the ball or wrestling with your kids or whatever, and just set some time aside for that one thing. And if you need some inspiration, again, I'll post a link to the ebook and all these other resources that I pulled from. There's also some really cool like Instagram accounts and social media accounts that regularly post games and ideas too, that I would be happy to link to. And none of them are mine because I post like once every 3 months or 4 months maybe. So I would point you to them instead. But yeah, that's where I would start probably.
Awesome. Matt, this has been very cool. It's really good to get to catch up with you and to learn the importance of play. Guys,
you too. Thanks for the time.
Yes, sir. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. All of the links to the articles and the books and the websites that Matt was talking about, we'll put in the notes of the show. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Original Strength Podcast.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great weekend.